Hello, this is the second game of the finals of the 2024 Through the Ages World Championship. Still the four same players as before. Leaders and wonders in case you want to look at them. And yeah, let's just get into this game. So first, I'm in first position. Take the Stonehenge. Think it's pretty clear. There are four okay leaders on the row, so I'll get one of them anyway. Not that many wonders, and also okay, these are fine wonders, but they'll be taken, and then just maybe Roman roads. No really good H1 wonder, so just take the Stonehenge. I think that's pretty clear here. And then Weidenbaum will take Frugality and Alex. Could have been EG, could have been Sun Tzu. But it's pretty fine Alex setup. Like, you don't like to see Columbus, but the others are mostly okay. Fred and Gengis may be a bit situational for long time use, but the others are all pretty easy to use, so I think this is a fine setup for Alex. And then if leaders are fine, I generally prefer Alex to Sun Tzu. Just depends on H1 leaders mostly. And then Martin gets Sun Tzu and EG, and it's the pyramids for E5 along with the patriotism. And then I get a choice of Toto or Ash basically, and I think especially in first position, don't have a yellow card in hand yet, it's pretty clear that it's probably just always better than Ash. Maybe some specific circumstances, like with the Stonehenge, that's maybe a reason that Ash gets a bit better. On the other hand, it's a 4-step wonder as well, but yeah, it's I think just clear to go for Toto here. We're not gonna pay 2 actions for Boudica. I think this is just fine. And then Weidenbaum goes for the Colossus. I think that's also fairly clear because there's Suez in the game, Cook as well. So I generally think Colossus is at its best in 4-player games because culture production is a bit less important and it doesn't produce any culture. And early strength matters a lot, so I think it's best in 4-player games, and 4-player games with Swiss, and then I generally think this is a good wonder. So I would also pick this. And then Martin will pay an extra action to have the Roman roads. So E5 he could wait for it as well, but then he probably doesn't have, like, he has to take a Frugality, and might be just better to have this now, especially with EG, because he can just finish it next turn if he wants to. It's nice. And yeah, like Sun Tzu. He likes it, Sun Tzu a lot. Could have been Ash, I guess, but that would have been ugly with taking Roman roads for 2. That doesn't really make sense like that, so I think Sun Tzu is fine. There's Columbus, which is kind of nice. E5 goes for Cleo with the pyramids, which I think is pretty awkward choice because he has no rich land, so no easy way to get stuff built and finish the pyramids. He'll have a quick pyramids, that's good, but I would have probably taken Boudica here. Yeah, I get that Boudica is also awkward. Weidenbaum can then just wait on removing Alex, and then you have to build a warrior. But that's not so bad with the pyramids because you don't mind so much that you can't build a second lab because you can build the pyramids, and Boudica will give some science back later on. So I think I would have gone Boudica. Ash was also possible. Yeah, interesting choice. And then on my turn I'll just take the iron for 3 and build my lab. Not much else I can take, like Leo, EG are fine, but yeah, can't use the EG properly here, so weren't also the strongest H1 wonders. Imagine will be gone before I get to finish Stonehenge, so not that much I can spend the EG on perhaps. And yeah, just with the Stonehenge and Toto I have a lot of signs, getting the iron really early is just nice. Especially also in first position, because there may be not too much pressure because I'm ahead of the others a bit in the early game. So just getting to that early iron with the science setup is just nice. Also, really nice with the Stonehenge that you can often just go for upgrading iron before building the wonder even, or completing the wonder. Then Weidenbaum gets the AG, that's also pretty clear I think. And he used Alex, which is normally what you want to do. Then Martin gets the second copy of Iron. So he could have gone for Roman roads, but instead I think it just makes sense to build a lap instead, because of the iron here. He can get that it's still a very early iron. Yeah, and then probably finish this next turn. Then yeah, e5 gets to finish the pyramids, takes Leo and the Code of Laws. Yeah, I think taking Leo for 1 is just good. It's a solid leader. Getting him for 1 now, why not? Don't want to be too long with Leo. Don't exactly know yet when you will go for this. There is a printing press which will probably still be on the available. So maybe you don't have the second lab, so maybe you just go for a printing press. There's Gaudi Darwin, so sure, why not? Should work fine, and yeah, taking the code for 2 is also good, even though it's gonna take a while, but with Leo he's gonna get some science set up eventually. Of course, and I would have really liked the code myself, but I think it makes sense for him to take it. I don't see it here. Yeah, I just want to get some economy going, so I don't want to rush my seeding. And then, yeah, I don't have any tactics, so I have to choose between taking the knights for 2 and taking the swordsman for 1, basically. So having 1 extra civil action I can pop already. And yeah, I think with the 4-step wonder, with Toto, you just want as many cards as possible to take, so I would really much rather take a card for 1 than take it for 2. And yeah, not knowing anything yet about what will be the upgraded tactic and what tactic I have, because I don't have any yet. Yeah, I'll just take the one that's for 1, but it's awkward because yeah, the knights are coming, so Martin will for sure get the knight for 1 civil action, which makes it of course likely that the knight's tactic will be upgraded eventually. And yeah, at least I'm not taking anything else here, so that Weidenbaum will have to take the knights for 2 actions, which he probably will do, but at least he has to pay for it then, and if he doesn't, then yeah, then I get first before him in the priority for picking the remaining copy event at some point, because then Martin and e5 will get them. And then at least I will have priority over Weidenbaum, so Weidenbaum will have to take them for 2, which he can do. There's no corruption issues or anything. So that's a bit awkward, but at least there's Genghis in the game, so I could still get Knight tactic with Genghis. There's also Nostradamus, which can help, and yeah, like I said, I just didn't want to spend the extra action here for the knights, because then it's also awkward if I take them for 2, Weidenbaum takes them for 2, and then Martin just take the swordsman and upgrade it as a non-cavalry tactic, just an infantry tactic. So yeah, that's of course the benefit of Sun Tzu being at play, of course. But yeah, bit of a guess here, but I think this is okay. Then development of religion, which I can take, so that's good. And Martijn can't. Okay. Then Weidenbaum actually doesn't go for the knights. So that's good news for me, I think, because now Martijn e5 will have them, and like I said, at least then I have priority over Weidenbaum. And Martijn already reveals a knight tactic now. And finished Roman roads, yeah. And the printing press is just on the guard row still, so he can now get Leo active and probably take the knights, yeah. And the rich land, okay. Still on 2 mines, but with the rich land he can maybe go for an iron directly, so that would be good. City inhabited, yeah, I have some cards here and even draw another one, but I won't be able to keep all of those. And yeah, there's also the cartography available, and I have enough science thanks to Toto and later the Stonehenge. So I'm taking the cartography, take the code for 2, upgrade 1 mine, and yeah, that's my turn. Just barely can't go for this code. Could I take it? I also scored 1 science with this, so yeah, I couldn't take it and then build a stager. No. So yeah, just 1 science short of. Maybe was hoping for some science with, but it was 3 cards. So yeah, next turn I can go for the code and yeah, I can only keep 2 of those, but even draw a 3rd one again. Now there's some science, and then Weidenbaum goes for alchemy. Can do an upgrade for cheap, and yeah, I guess Genghis because yeah, I have the advantage for getting the 3rd copy of knights. Open borders, some really bad news here, I think, because both of those have some strength potential with the upgraded tactic coming. And then e5 will also have to build his knight. So yeah, the strength is increasing now, which is annoying because the 3rd copy of knights isn't on the row yet. So we'll have to see what I can do about it. Yeah, I have the scientific breakthrough, but I don't think I want to see that because Weidenbaum already has alchemy and e5 has Leo, so, and yeah, I already have some extra science. I do have the alchemy as well now, okay. So, going for, but I'm not going for the alchemy yet, so just going for code and cartography. And then I build 1 extra warrior so that I can try to win the colony. Yeah, and I have the defense cards even without the warrior, but just better to be able to bid for the colony that I seeded. And also I really don't want to invite an aggression. I don't want to spend those cards. I'd rather keep them. So yeah, I didn't see the scientific breakthrough. Just I guess the science would help my opponents more. Like if it gets revealed soon, I'll get 1 less at least. It would be maybe nice later on if I have the alchemy, but I don't know when that will be. So I think it's better not to seed it, and like I said, I have some signs for now with Toto and the Stonehenge, so don't really want to give everybody signs. There's development of planning now, and civil life, crafts, and warfare are the options. And yeah, Weidenbaum now goes for a heavy cavalry tactic and takes Richland. And reds are the first event, and Martin gets hurt pretty bad by that, so he loses 5 food. And he goes for Columbus, so yeah, probably has a fast. I had the inhabited, so it's most likely he has the vast territory. Nostradamus is coming down for me, so that will help me defend a bit, because e5 is now also going to 10 strength, and he's on the normal medieval armies, so he will still get a bit more once he copies to the upgraded one, probably next turn. Has the monarchy now, so looks okay, but the 2 mines are a bit awkward, but Cleo helps a bit and basically produces a rock per turn most of the time. And I go for monarchy now, or take it in hand at least. Take Nostradamus, like I said, I really need some defense. And then I can build 1 step for science, and that allows me to go for the alchemy. And so I had 2 and got 1 from the monarchy, got 1 from Stonehenge, and that allows me to go for 1 for alchemy and 1 upgrade. And then next turn, if I complete the Stonehenge, I have just enough science to also go for the monarchy. It's a little dangerous. We're going to 11 cards here, but Weidenbaum and Martin have only 4 actions, and e5 has 6, so it's probably just safe. Also, 2 leaders are on the discard spots of the 1 civil action cards, so not going to be that easy for. There's not that many options for Weidenbaum for taking many cards. So I think this is kind of safe. And even if I lose this, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I'm sure I lost 1 rock to it and got 1 science back, and spent a civil action taking it. Well, not really, that's just the start of the game. Spent 1 civil action building this. It's a bit of a loss if this happens, but actually the happy face would be annoying. But there is at least a theology here, so 1 here and 1 here, and this one might be taken by e5. Yeah, might be taken. So we'll see. But I don't really think it's gonna end. But yeah. I had the new deposits in hand. I could have seeded that, but I think I know about some strength events here already. No, I just selected Nostradamus. I did. No, I did not see it. And I took the warfare apparently. So yeah, I need the warfare because I want to be at 7 strength. Or yeah, again go for a colony if I can. Not sure why I didn't see the new deposits actually. Because it looks kind of nice now. It would be in the next stack, of course, so it's still a while. Yeah, maybe I'm just worried about losing something like Call to Arms, Reign of Terror right now, which would be pretty bad at the moment. So I think that's why I prefer not to take a risk here on revealing a bad event. I'm not really sure. No, this is not a territory that I put in. I put in the inhabited, but yeah, I'll take this one, which is actually quite nice. It improves my yellow bank, and yeah, even get 1 extra strength for it. So this is nice to have. So the cartography paying off a little bit, because there was a colony that I didn't know about. And Martin discovers the vast. Didn't really mention Weidenbaum's turn. Yeah, he took a theology as well, and yeah, even took quite a few cards, more than I had expected. So, and Martin also taking another card here, which actually gets a little bit scary for my Stonehenge. And now there is a bad event. I lose a yellow token to the uncertain borders. Third copy of Knights is coming down the round now, which I will need because I don't have an infantry tactic or any tactic, I think. I just drew this one, but yeah, that's not really helpful. And yeah, as you see, the card row will now go to just 1 card in the row, so that works out just well enough. And I can do what I planned, finish the Stonehenge, go for the monarchy and get the second upgrade, and then I can also take the copy of Night Switches on 1 civil action, so that's actually working out quite nicely, I think. I'm still the weakest, so I'm hoping not to have too many bad events coming, but actually I'm now seeing some stuff with Nostradamus, and I took screenshots of that. 1 second. I'm of course not very well prepared because I should have put those screenshots ready. No, I have no idea where they are. Yes, here we are. Yeah, so in this event deck, I don't know the first cards. I don't know what Martin played, but I already know that the next two are Reign of Terror and Foray. So Reign of Terror was seeded by Weidenbaum, and Foray was seeded by E5. And yeah, so knowing that, I really don't want to see this very soon because Reign of Terror would be a huge problem for me at the moment. And yeah, Foray would just help two of my opponents, even if I manage to stabilize my military. I'm never going to be strongest because I'm using Nostradamus for it. So yeah, I really don't want to push now, and I want to see these events as late as possible, preferably. So yeah, this looks pretty nice, I think. I have a government, I have already fully upgraded mines and labs. Only I'm at 8 strength, and yeah, I'm in danger of aggressions. I still get my draws, so I'm really hoping for some more defense cards, but I already discarded quite many of them, so yeah, not seeing any here, unfortunately. And oh yeah, I'm just scared of aggressions, basically. Weidenbaum has to go for a theology upgrade, and also gets a lab upgrade. And sadly there is an aggression and I lose a lab. Yeah, kind of not unexpected perhaps. I mean, I did get some redraws after the territory, but he will soon saw a lot of cards. Actually, there were a lot of defense cards he didn't see, so there was because I know because I have had many. Um, so yeah, but I drew them perhaps at the wrong time. um, but yeah, nothing to be helped about it. I lose a call to arms as well now. So yeah, I didn't know about any events in this deck yet, so it was not really great seeing um, another strength event come out, especially because the event I saw going in was now the Raiders, so another strength event. And yeah, so again, I'm not seeding because I really don't want this train of strength events coming soon. Even if I'm maybe likely to lose the Reign of Terror, for example, even still later on, um, every moment I can spend with that population is a happy moment. That's why you should always spend Christmas with your family. Yeah, I don't want to lose them earlier than I have to. I rebuilt a lab for 6 rocks, and yeah, I lost 2 civil actions to the call to arms, drew 2 pretty useless cards, I think. I'm not going to be aggressive anytime soon. And then I don't have that much to do, perhaps. I really like these reserves because it's going to give me 1 extra population, so I can build a knight and have a tactic have a tactic going. Yeah, and then I have 2 actions left. Taking Anthony Gaudi is pretty whatever. Yeah, like I said, I really want his reserves. And yeah, there's nothing else here. I could take Urban Growth Patriotism, but that's just going to clog up my hands even more. So don't want too many cards that I can't use right now. And so I'm taking Gaudi. There's perhaps also not that many really great options for leaders because I have the irons, so I'm not going to go for James Watt. I have 1 colony at the moment, so Cook is possible, but I'm low on strength. It doesn't seem very likely that I'm going to bid for colonies again. And yeah, the others are okay, but I think I have religion, so Darwin's. I have religion and no excess happy faces, so I'm not really set up for Darwin either. And yeah, then it's just the other 3. So yeah, Gaudi is a fine leader. He's one I can at least use him to get 2 culture, and for now I'm definitely staying with Nostradamus, of course. But yeah, just had these 2 civil actions, so I guess I might as well take the Gaudi in hand, even though I'm not sure he's going to be really great in this game. Draw another war, at least that's 2 wars taken care of. That's good because yeah, I'm still susceptible to aggressions, but at least my opponents don't necessarily know that because I got 2 extra draws from the call to arms and then another 3. But yeah, wars, Nostradamus definitely won't help with the wars. So it's at least good to have 2 of them that weren't in other players' hands. But yeah, this is again a very scary round because anybody could aggress me. At least for Weidenbaum and e5 it's pretty unlikely that I would not be able to defend. And Martin aggressed me last turn and only had 1 draw. So if he has an aggression, it's probably just h1. So these are the hopes to get through this turn. Good harvest is revealed, and yeah, that makes the reserves I just took perhaps not as necessary, but it's still okay to have. And yeah, the good harvest I can also cleanly go for a population. Weidenbaum takes a call for 3 and just develops it. Still has a science for a government, so it makes sense, I think. Doesn't want to spend actions on random stuff, given that he only has 4. And yeah, Martin drew 1 H2 card, but sadly it was the spy. And that's very bad news because now I can't go for the knights even. I do have the scientific cooperation, but it's gonna be awkward to offer this perhaps because people will know that it will allow me to go for knights. So we'll get back to that when it's my turn. And then Martin gets an efficient upgrade, so yeah, wants to upgrade both labs and farms, so this is good for him. Wave and EG are much more questionable if and when he can use them, and yeah, he only has 4 civil actions, so limited hand space. Can't really fill it up with unknowns at this point. He could have just developed Bird and Circuses and built one. I guess he wants to keep 12 science for government, and therefore doesn't want to go for this at this point. Because yeah, spending 2 actions for yellow card on 4 actions is also a little bit expensive, or just expensive. Promise of military protection, that's more bad news because yeah, Martin is now even scarier. Yeah, and then he can go for the second mine, uses both Richlands for it, I think. Yeah, plays Richland 1, plays Richland 1, so he has a civil action, so it's not too bad that this is a little inefficient on civil actions. Takes the EG, interestingly, not a wave. But yeah, I guess he doesn't have population to spend on the wave. There are strong wonders, so the EG is quite valuable. Yeah, so makes sense. And yeah, if he has 1 H2 or 2 H1 cards, he can defend because Martin has the 4 extra strength from him. So if we take another look at my screenshot, by now I know that also Knowledge of the Ancients is in, which is at least the only non-strength. Oh, sorry, I don't know about that yet. I have to count 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I know these 4, right? Yeah. So Knowledge of the Ancients is the only non-strength event. So I know Reign of Terror for a Raiders. And yeah, there's only 1 card here. I think this is my inhabited territory, which isn't revealed yet. So yeah, there's only 1 unknown event at this point. But yeah, I think I really don't want to steed still because again, I really want to postpone it Reign of Terror. At least I get no population. But I want to go for these knights, and for that I will have to offer the scientific cooperation to somebody. Yeah, it's awkward because I have very low science, and then that's very dangerous to have this pact and give it to somebody. And yeah, Weidenbaum has 12 science and 4 production. Martin has 12 science and 3 production. It's maybe already ready for upgrades, and then E5 has only 5 science and 3 production. So I think if and like I said, people will know that if they accept this pact, it allows me to build this knight, and for that reason I didn't really dare offer it to E5 because I really need this knight now to stabilize. Otherwise, I'm just again possibly in danger of aggressions from everybody, and I would really not. I would like to avoid that if possible. So I want to offer it to somebody who will for sure accept. So that means one of those with 12 signs, because then it's gonna be dangerous. For that the pact will potentially be bad for me then, and that's why they would accept it, because it's going to help me so much in the very short term, but it's gonna be very dangerous for me in the long term. And so I offered it to Martin. Because at least I think he still has enough that it's good for him to accept it. This is also awkward that he has it in hand, because this is a very annoying, like very cheap tech, so very annoying for me, because he gets to research this basically almost for free, and I help pay for it. So any cheap techs are more dangerous. At least they both also need governments, which are expensive tax, so that's a positive side of it. But yeah, I offered it to Martin, knowing it was a bit dangerous. However, I was really glad to see the Harvard College appear. So first I go for this. I will play the phalanx. Could copy this as well, but I just want an extra draw, just to have more chances of defense cards basically, or maybe a tactic or something. I don't really have the population for another knight anyway. Maybe at some point I can switch if I have strategy perhaps for more MAs, but we'll see. And yeah, I saw the Harvard and I just immediately go for that. I have no population, so being able to spend my rocks on a wonder is great. And with having the scientific cooperation, actually the Harvard will suddenly give me next turn already possibly give me +7 science, and then my pact is actually quite beneficial perhaps, even in the long run. So that would be nice. And yeah, and guess I skipped the wave, but yeah, again I don't have population. It would still be nice, of course, to have, but that's kind of the only cost here because there was nothing else on 1 or 2 that I really wanted. And yeah, the last card is indeed my inhabited territory. I don't bid for this. I can't afford to lose strength at the moment. And yeah, it means e5 on it, which at least puts him in danger of aggression, so that's kind of risky perhaps. And then Weidenbaum took the rifles for 3. I wasn't happy to see that because yeah, that's basically the only tech that gives me like a fairly easy way of getting extra strength. Yeah, so he takes it for 3, and now there's gonna be competition over the second copy because nobody developed swordsman yet. At least I have swordsman in hand myself, if I want to, but yeah, it would be nicer to have the rifles because just more efficient. So not great to see it go to the player right behind me. He does pay a price for it, because yeah, takes it for 3 and develops it instead of going for a call upgrade, so that's actually pretty expensive. Delays his, yeah, slows down his economy by a lot. Yeah, also 3 civil actions when still on 4. So this is actually quite a price that he pays to be able to defend against Martin. And Martin goes for an aggression. He had another level 1 aggression in hand. And he goes against e5. So yeah, I'm happy that it's not me this time, because I couldn't defend still. At least, yeah. Oh no, he was at 22, of course, so I needed two h2 defense cards, but he goes against e5, who needed 2 h2 and an h1 defense card to defend. And he does go for Darwin now, so the promise of military protection was cancelled by the attack, but it was also not costing Martin anything because he was at 0 culture production, so it's pretty nice for him as well that yeah, he cancelled the pact by aggressing just at the time when he starts producing culture, so that works out nicely. And then he takes the journalism for 2 civil actions thanks to Darwin, which is still pricey, still at 4 actions. There's no scientific method on the row, so I think he would have preferred that perhaps still, I'm not sure. But yeah, he really wants to upgrade his science, perhaps also because otherwise he threatens to fall behind on the scientific corporation pact. But it's not bad for me that he also gets some science, so the pact can just stay in play perhaps the whole game. Then Napoleon is taken for 3 civil actions. and e5 upgrades his strength a bit, does grab the wave now and takes the cannons for 2. And at this point I also know this card is Civil Unrest, but yeah, so about this deck I only know one card there isn't that I don't know, and 3 strength events are still coming. And yeah, I'm still weakest, so I think I'm not going to seed here, because I still really don't want to lose a population at this point, for example. Or even the raiders would be very bad. Okay, I have the reserves perhaps, but yeah, just nice not to lose anything at the moment. I do go for the architecture, so yeah, I'll have some science income now. I get to use the pact again, that's always important. So far the pact is working out really nicely for me, I think, because I think Martin also didn't develop anything, so I was happy to see that, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to go for this architecture play, so it actually works out really nice. I have used it for the knights, then Martin hasn't used it, and then I used it again for the architecture. So yeah, I was pretty happy to see Martin's last turn actually. And yeah, with having 2 activations and now an okay science income, I think the pact can't work out against me anymore at this point, really, because I already got quite a bit of value out of it. And then I'll also take the strategy for 3. Think I'm hoping Martin will go for only 1 tech, so I can go for it next turn, because I'll need 6 science for it. And yeah, regardless, also don't have tactics, don't have any techs yet, so having this strategy would really be important for stabilizing. Also, if somebody else gets it, they might get dangerous pretty soon. Probably not Weidenbaum, but either Martin or e5 could be pretty dangerous with the strategy, so important for me to have it myself. And then yeah, I'm basically waiting for food upgrades. The first selective breeding was on the round now. There's also ocean liners, so hopefully I'll be able to get something for my food soon, and then it's actually starting to look okay. But yeah, the 3 strength events that are coming are still perhaps a problem. I now have a defense card, which means I can defend against either of those aggressions. But maybe I have kept an H1 card here, I think, because it's been often the case that E5 had, yeah, that was still enough, and at the point that Martin aggressed me, I would have needed 2, so it's possible that I have 1, so I'm keeping 1 H1 card for a while. Wrong screen. And Weidenbaum now goes for an upgrade, takes Catherine and Urban Growth, and did something, takes Cavalryman as well. Yeah, but he'll need the Cavalryman once he switches to still have the tactic fulfilled. And Catherine, I guess, is just available for 1 now. Not sure if Newton isn't, like, what is also tempting. But I think, yeah, with Watts it probably just doesn't work out well, because you would have him for quite a long time still, and maybe, yeah, maybe also can't switch from Genghis right now, so it probably just doesn't work out right to have the Watt, because he doesn't want to wait with the upgrades, and also can't really go for Watt right now, so. And then has to pick between Catherine and Newton, basically, because yeah, it's only Cook left after that. Not sure why Catherine. Yeah, he has the open boilers, of course, so he's actually only at 3 MA, sorry. But he can probably go for Conman at some point, so maybe Newton just would be a bit more valuable. Like, it's also not great, of course, with only having alchemies, but still, I don't know, getting an extra civil action at some point could already be quite valuable. Perhaps at the turn that he gets like a conmon, just getting back an extra civil action. I don't know, might be better than Catherine. Yeah, that's the first of those strength events. It's the foray. At least maybe not the worst. I think Reign of Terror is still the one I'm fearing the most. And he gets one journalism going, but only developed one tech. So he didn't go for the brand circuses yet. So that's still good. Of course, he's on 4 civil actions, which also is quite limiting. And both Weidenbaum and Martin are waiting for the governments, which are pretty late. So that's very good for me. I'm pretty fortunate, I think, because chances were that there was already a government out at some point. And yeah, so because of the limited civil actions, Martin only gets to develop one tech again, which means strategy is playable for me now, so that's very nice. So then maybe I can finally stabilize completely. Or not, because I get ward. Yeah, I was hoping to get a railroad, I think, but I was also thinking I wouldn't. Sadly, it gets used in a war against me immediately as well, so that's not great. It's maybe a little unfortunate also because I drew 2 of them, so I was kind of hoping this wouldn't happen, but yeah, it happened anyway. And yeah, no, that's a problem. So let's see how we solve this. Yeah, again, not seeding for the same reason again. I really can't afford to lose a population here. So at least I luckily can still develop the strategy, and then I decide to delete a farm and build a knight and copy to the upgraded medieval. That brings me to 18 strength, so I lose 4 science still. Yeah, let's see the rest of the turn first. I'll take the team sports, reserves, and frugality. And yeah, I had to play the little reserves for 2 food, so at least I can survive for a bit. Yeah, don't really want to destroy anything else on a farm. I think these are just too valuable. I guess I could destroy a lab, but especially with the scientific corporation, it's just so painful. Also, it's been raided already. I rebuilt it, and then I'd have to tear it down myself again. That's just, yeah, you can't do such a thing. Yeah, I need the happy face, so this can't be deleted. So I think deleting the farm is okay in the short term because I have this 2 food. And with these, I'll manage to get something out. And then the team sports will make them happy also. And I'm just really hoping to get the ocean liner at this point because once you've deleted the farm, it's just very annoying to have to go to selective breedings. You have to do the 1 upgrade and then somehow find the second population to put in it, and it all takes so much time, and you're starving for more people in your military by that point. And so that would all be so much cleaner if I could get the ocean liner. Of course, ocean liners are things that everybody wants. So we'll see if I get it. At least this team sports is really nice because it will solve my happy faces for a while and will be cheap to develop it onto the Gaudi and give me extra culture and some strength even. And this reserves and frugality is also super important. So I'll have 1 food after this turn, and with these I'll have 7, which is not that great yet. But yeah, I'll need more food anyway. So at least this will allow me to build a team sport. and have some extra food to pay to the what is this? It's not corruption. This is the hungry people, and so yeah. I don't get to take the rifleman though, which is sad. But yeah, I just needed all of these, I think, and because of the war, yeah, the force science is maybe manageable, but it's still gonna be very costly having to do this because otherwise I probably would have taken the rifleman here um, and yeah, been able to do productive things. I don't know. At least I get offered the consolation pact and I get the rock production. Yeah, either side would have been nice for me. Either get rid of this -1 or just more rocks is always nice. So no complaints here. And there is now a common available for 1 even all of a sudden. And yeah, he goes for Catherine. So which again I'm not sure is better than Newton here. Could have had just +1 science production, not the best, but still useful, and don't see the, what is it, 4, 5, yeah, 6th military action after the open borders is gone. Don't think it's maybe that important. So yeah, he would have had already 1 extra action with Newton. And oh, that's also nice. He is the weakest now. Where did his rocks go? Okay, he did spend some rocks, but yeah, he just didn't have many, or only had 1 upgrade so far. And yeah, at least the consequence perhaps of that war is that I was forced to increase my strength, and at least that means I'm now not losing the Reign of Terror. So that's some good news. Weidenbaum is currently losing, and not even the Raiders either, so that's actually nice. And we immediately see the Reign of Terror, so at least not like I didn't see it like ever with Nostradamus, I think. Yeah, I don't think I have seen it with him yet, and at least and the deck went slow enough that I actually didn't get hit by those events now. I mean, the foray was still went to some other people, but I didn't lose that many events. And yeah, so Martin gets now a 2nd journalism, which is really nice. And he developed 2 techs in this turn, so he's catching up. I'm still think a bit ahead on using the pact, but he also has 7 science production now, so probably from now on the pact is going to be somewhat fair, at least fair between both of us, and completely unfair to the other 2 players, because that's what pacts do. But yeah, we'll both benefit from. Oh yeah, right. There is this small detail. I'm losing for science, uh, but at least I get back. I knew about. Yeah, I think I had taken that into account on my last turn as well, that it would be a problem to get the team sports. But I think after Anthony Gaudi, I could develop the team sports for 1 science anyway. And I also knew that the knowledge of the ancients was in the deck, so I knew I would also get some more extra science to be perhaps still a bit more flexible with what to develop. So it worked out okay, as far as getting wards is okay. And now e5 takes a bunch of things. There's 4 more cards coming and only 12 on the row, and I really need to find a food solution at this point, because I'm still at -1 production. And e5 didn't get anything now, so there's the 3rd copy of breeding and the ocean liner weren't there, so I'm now hoping to see preferably the ocean liner appear on my turn. Would be nice. And now I'm no longer the weakest, and not even the second weakest. So I think the raiders and the unknown event are still coming. I see the economic progress and reveal the raiders, and yeah, I got this. I got the selective breeding on the row, not the ocean liner sadly, but selective breeding is because I could go for that easily. But selective breeding was the next best thing, I suppose. And with me getting that, economic progress could be nice for me, since I won't be getting the ocean liner clearly. Don't think it's gonna come around again. And also, thanks to the knowledge of the engines, yeah, I mean, it was likely that it would be out by now, but it's nice because then I can, but thanks to that, I can at least go for the breeding, and also for that team sports, which, as I said, cost only 1 science with Gaudi and the back, so that's really nice. And if we look at the food situation now, so I'll be at 2 food, and so these two will be gone because I have to look at what what's gonna happen in my next turn. So with these two I would have 8 food if I use reserves for food, and I need 9 to get both of those, and that's why economic progress is a nice event. So it would be, there's a chance that I can already get this next turn, and then it would be nice. And if that doesn't happen, then it's probably more awkward because I have to do these reserves and build the team sports to get out of unhappiness. And then I'll be at -3 here, and so I won't be producing food, meaning I'll be at 4 food and needing 5. I guess there are maybe other outs, like there could be some colony in there, and that would, like any colony would be helpful if I could get it, because it would put me back at this spot, and then I could get the extra population out again and have whatever benefit the colony had. Of course, any colony with yellow tokens would improve things even more. There isn't any reserves here left, so yeah, I guess there is also maybe a chance that I do get the ocean liner if it's really late or something, and then just going for ocean liner could also just solve it. So there are some options for how I get out of this, because I really want this 1 extra population as soon as possible to get that second farm again. Like I said, it's always a very awkward spot to be in. Get an extra defense card, which is good. Have perhaps more chance to win a colony. And the unknown event was border conflict. So there was even 1 more strength event in there. And now Weidenbaum goes for a defensive army and takes his rich land. Yeah, he still has a lot of upgrading to do. He's also at 1 farm. Yeah, he lost the border conflict and destroyed a farm, so that's kind of annoying. Yeah, it's annoying, and he'll have to rebuild it next turn probably. At least his strength position is safe now, but his economy is not looking great. Martin actually loses 8 culture, which is good for us, because he's starting to run away, or threatening to run away. Okay, he's pretty low now, but his production is really high. Has to build the bread and circuses, gets his food upgrades going, and use the scientific operation once, so fair enough. Gets the cannons as well, with Darwin doing some work. And the first event is actually my economic progress, and it's even the best for me probably. Martin also gets quite a lot out of it, having just upgraded the food. But like I said, this 1 food is actually super important, perhaps even more than the 5 rocks. I also see the ocean liner, which is just barely on the 3 spot still, so I was hoping e5 might not take it, because it would still be very nice for me to have this, but especially because I have the architecture to build it nicely. But sadly e5 does take it away, and so I don't get this. It will still have been really great to get it for 4 actions and complete it immediately. So yeah, sadly no ocean liner. I ceded the autonomous territory. I have some cards, I have 2 bonus, so I have some chance to win that. I think this is, so I'm at 0 blues, so wouldn't really be in trouble with that. And yeah, then I first have to solve my happy face issue, but like I said, thanks to the 1 extra food, I have just enough for 2 population, and I can build a team sports. And the knight, okay, so there was freedom of movement revealed, and I moved the knight to selective breeding and then built the knight. Without the freedom of movement, I would have just built the selective breeding, of course. But now I get 1 extra civil action basically. The military action is not needed, so I get an extra card to take. I'm not sure which one I would have taken or left, but having the opera and urban growth is pretty nice. If I ever have another population to spare, then I have now a way to produce a decent amount of culture. And also I forgot to talk about the event deck, because yeah, we're already into it now, and the freedom of movement was a card I didn't know about actually. So I saw, let me think, I saw 3 cards of this deck, and yeah, the economic progress, which was seeded by myself. But the other cards I know are popularization of science, wealthy territory, and international agreement. So maybe not the most important to know, or most impactful cards even, but still some good knowledge to have. And popularization of science is even kind of nice for me, and wealthy territory also, although yeah, gonna be a bit hard to spend population currently. But at least I got my food going, but I don't have another worker coming yet. Maybe if I get a reserves, that would be nice, then I could get a worker next turn and the turn after with exactly 10 food. And thanks to Harvard, I would be able to go for that quickly. And popularization of science is the next event revealed, so that's good. And Weidenbaum gets his economy upgraded a bit and takes his Rev ID. Yeah, definitely needs more science. The breakthroughs are and the Rev ID are all pretty late actually, so they're still here. Now the wealthy comes out. I do bid for it. I bid 8, so that's just a knight and the 2 cards. Think I would be in danger of aggression then, because I just risked it anyway, or just want to drive the price up perhaps, I don't know. And Martin's civilization is starting to look pretty nice. He now has a democracy in hand, produces 13 culture already, thanks to the 3 journalisms, Darwin producing 5, has the, at least there's no Pierre for the bread and circuses, but he has those 2, which all works pretty nicely with the masonry, getting discounts, and he also has a good tactic now, so this is starting to look quite nice for him. And now e5 wins the international agreement, takes only the fundamentalism. Yeah, I think I looked at it and saw that the international agreement was not going to be great for him, because he had a wonder in progress and pretty full hand actually. But he accepted the international agreement anyway and took the fundamentalism for 3, so he's got some war plans apparently. And he also takes the modern infantry for 2, which I was sad about, because with all the pressure I've been under in H2, and also with not having seen any tactic, yeah, I've not been able to take any red cards. Yeah, I don't have any direction on which ones I need either. So modern infantry was actually the one I wanted first now, or really wanted. I'm also out of population at the moment, and it would just be really nice to upgrade things, or at least have the option to do so. So I really hope to get that modern infantry, because it's going to be the biggest strength differential that I can immediately do. But sadly, it's taken away by e5. So first, and yeah, I really need some red card at some point now. Let's see if I see it. That was immigration, I think. Ravage of Time comes out, so that one I didn't know about. The happy phase loss is not a problem for now, but might be a bit annoying later on. And yeah, like I said, I can only upgrade things at this point pretty much. So I upgrade my computers, which is nice. If you look at the leaders, there's Meyer, Einstein, Jobs, Marie Curie. So a lot of leaders that work with the computers, and yeah, I now have big science income, so scientific operation will for sure remain good for me. And then I also take the movies and develop them, which is pretty cheap. And I'm thinking maybe I should take the reserves here, just to have an extra population potentially next turn. It's also the second copy of Modern Infantry, but yeah, Martin has rifles in hand, and Weidenbaum has them already developed, so I think I can just get this next turn. And yeah, also only had 2 free actions basically. If I want to get 2 computers going and get out of corruption, then kinda, yeah, just nice to go for these computers. So this opera is maybe a little ambitious, but there is also Chaplin on the row. There's Flaming, and yeah, I have Gaudi, so like I said, it's pretty cheap. And yeah, after taking movies in hand, there was just not really anything else I could do except just develop it. And I think I have enough science. Maybe for if I have to go for communism, but I'm not going to go for communism because that would be a problem with Happy Face. Or maybe in combination with Chaplin, I don't know. But yeah, Martin will probably go for democracy next turn, so I will still have 15 signs. So if there's a democracy, I will be able to go for it. So that's important. And so I think it's okay to develop the movie already. And yeah, my Weidenbaum now takes some cards. And again, maybe I should have taken the reserves instead of the movies. Maybe that's just a little greedy, I don't know. But yeah, could be nice to have movies as well, so I don't know. And now Weidenbaum has positional army, so that's actually quite threatening. He has enough signs for air forces, so he can next turn potentially declare a war and build an air force. So he is now threatening, and I really need to be able to set up some defense next turn. He destroyed something, a warrior. and builds a cannon. And then he actually takes the modern infantry, the oil, the pro sports, and the tanks even. And this was really bad news for me. I'm not even sure why he takes all of this. Like there is a yellow card on the row if he just wants to spend his actions, which would actually be quite useful. Um, but him taking the second copy of Modern Infantry is really bad news for me, and also taking away the tanks. So first copy of tanks for still 2 civil actions that he's paying for it. Is just really problematic for me. And I really need some way to start building defense. Still don't have any tactic either, but I need some red cards to be able to invest in my own, because I have some rocks, but I don't have any place to spend them currently. E5 goes for entrenchments, which lets him get 6 resources out of wave. And then he can build 2 of the cannons, and needs a church for happiness, and he gets that Rev ID and mechanic. So yeah, he'll need this at some point to fix his food, but not yet. I see the impact of wonders. Think I really wanted to see it because of the territory that was potentially in there, and I managed to win it for a knight and 2 cards. Okay, and then I take 6 food with it, yeah, because I really need food. And sadly, there is no red card on the row now, so 3 were taken, and this is getting problematic because yeah, I really needed something, so I'll just have to rebuild the knight now, I suppose. And then I'll also build a team sports, which is just really sad because I could have gone Chaplin and movies, but I just don't have any decent way to get strength going, or just gone movies even with still keeping Gaudi, but probably then I just go for Chaplin in case of iconoclasm, because I'm not gonna need another tech with Gaudi. But yeah, there is no way for me to increase my strength beyond this. And so I built team sports for happiness. There were now 3 choices for leaders, and yeah, like I said, Chaplin was definitely an option, but it was also probably the greediest option, because I would need a movie, and I ended up not building a movie, as you see, so I'm not going to go for Chaplin. And then between Sid Meier and Einstein, Sid produces 6 culture, Einstein 3 per tech that I develop, which probably ends up being a bit less than the 6 of Sid. And of course, Einstein gives me extra science, while Sid gives me some negative science. But I end up going for Sid Meier, I think. Yeah. Because yeah, I just want the raw culture production basically. I don't think I will be lacking science, and if I ever, and yeah, Sid allows me to go for a 3rd computer perhaps at some point, to increase my culture production further. So I think for raw culture production, Sid will be just a bit more than Einstein, and I won't really need the science difference, is my estimation. Also because I don't have a ton of civil actions, and so Einstein will be a bit harder to get his culture, because I have to take and develop the text. So yeah, I have Sid Meier now. I take a patriotism for 2, and I guess this copy of satellites here. Not great with having cartography, but anything that gives even a little strength is fine, and I have enough science for this. And yeah, the patriotism will be super important, because I will need to switch to some unknown tactic at some point and build some unknown units at some point, and I will really need military actions. And I'm really gonna need by next turn like some tech and some direction for my military, because otherwise this will get difficult. I draw more wars. I already have 3 wars now. They're useless, but at least these are wars that other people don't have, I suppose. And immigration is revealed. Also, if we maybe have a look at the culture at the moment, then it's really quite equal, but I already had my production, so I'm actually running a little bit behind, which was also part of the reason that I just want Meyer, because I just want to keep up in culture. My economy is not bad, but yeah, the military is a problem at the moment, which is going to make it hard to increase my culture even more, because I'll need to fix military. And I'm also in first position, which at the moment is going to be more difficult, because at some point towards the end of the game, you're the one who has to make decisions about going for culture or military first, and it's beneficial to be in later positions because of that, towards the end of the game. Um, and meanwhile, Weidenbaum is taking Chaplin, which is a bit remarkable, because I took 1 copy of movies already, so it's maybe not so likely that he will use Chaplin for that. So maybe it's just for the happy face fix. Jobs could have done half of that, I suppose. So it's kind of looking like he's really gonna go for the military and get the extra pop out and just get extra faces, happy faces from Chaplin. Or maybe he still hopes to get a second copy of movie, but that's just maybe a little ambitious. At least I have the first copy, so that increases the chances that makes it harder for other people to deny it. But yeah, he has a lot of yellows now, and still looking very dangerous. If you look at if he gets air forces, uh, yeah, he can not go for a second army plus air forces just yet, but probably by next turn, turn after next, I mean, he might go for that. Martin gets the oil node that he took last turn, upgrades that, and takes the Manhattan project, which again made me very sad, because this was also like, it was not only the red cards that I was hoping for, I was also really hoping to see Manhattan project, especially with the computers I had upgraded. It would have given me a nice amount of culture, but I think it appeared right after my turn, and yeah, Martin takes that away as well. Which is for him, it's a fine wonder as well, especially because he gets the EG, so it's going to be efficient for him. But this was another card that I was really hoping to get, and that maybe E5 with already 3 wonders and not many civil actions couldn't really take. So I thought there was some chance that I would get it, but sadly it's now it fell to the 2 civil action even for Martin, and wasn't on the row for me, and it worked out just bad, I guess. Because that would have been a very clean solution for me. And now we still don't see red cards appear. The Manhattan is taken, and E5 then goes for war against me. So war over technology. So I think I already got one from him. So maybe there was a reshuffle, because I think the wars I drew early on were territory and technology. And then yeah, he increases his strength and takes some yellow cards and still gets 3 draws. And he's at 48 strength, and now so yeah, once again I just really need to see a red card on the row, and even if I do it, I'm still gonna pay something for this war, but at least Yeah, also still don't have a tactic drone, so yeah, don't know what's available. So if I get rockets, I can go for this. Modern infantry is gone, of course, forever. So it's basically just this tactic that's got any potential for me at the moment. Um, Having a drone like Modern Army would have been good as well. If I get rocket, then I could go for that, which is a little bit more perhaps. But yeah, let's see. Also, air forces are actually important as well. If I can build 2 air forces, they both get an extra 3, so that's at least something. And importantly, again, 0 red cards appear, and yeah, we now have 17 cards in the deck, and 6 of them are these, so that's very sad. And I offered a pact to Weidenbaum for +3 strength. Yeah, because I'm being warred, and I had scientific cooperation with Martin, so I think that gives Weidenbaum more incentive to accept the pact. Maybe Martin would have accepted it as well anyway, but I think for Weidenbaum it's more certain. And yeah, I need any help I can get. Yeah, took the fast food chains because, like I said, I'm behind on culture. So, and at least I drew some wars, so maybe I can uh, get away with something. But yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up to culture anyway. So I'll take the fast food. It's available for 3 here now, so that's gonna be at least a way out. And then I take military theory, Rev ID, and increase my population and build a knight. Still have corruption, but yeah, this was, I think, the only way kind of to not have 4 corruption at least. And yeah, I'm going to lose the war by an amazing 21, which means my strategy can be taken at least, and then also a bunch of my science. So I took the Rev ID and the military theory, so I can at least rebuild that, and I also will still need to go for a red tech, of course, if I ever see one in this game. So I will need the science, so and I will need to replace this. Of course, I'm going to get in trouble with civil actions if I have to take the red card for expensive. Then I'm still in, yeah, I'm still in trouble regardless, clearly. But yeah, this is the best I could do, I think. Draw impact of strength, and at least some colonization cards. And now the air forces appear. Again, right after my turn, and that's more bad news because it means my opponents will get them. And also Weidenbaum removed the yellow token from me. I think, yeah, that was only me, so he didn't get one, but Catherine is probably gone next turn anyway, so he had to use it anyway. And he built an air force and has plenty more rocks, and that means he needs 15, 22, and that's precisely what he has. So he can potentially go for 2 armies with 2 air forces if he has a war, which it looks like he does. Also had Colossus draws, of course. So yeah, trouble, but what can I do? Tourism between Martin and E5. So yeah, also not good. Martin gets actually quite a bit more out of that. At least we'll finish the Manhattan at some point, so just maybe a bit more. But maybe E5 is not really is looking to catch up to Martin anyway, and just wants the extra culture against Feinbaum and maybe me if I somehow don't get wards. And now Martin is also increasing his strength to the 2nd copy of Air Forces. and has the military buildup, so he's also, and Manhattan still, so he's also quite well prepared for a military. The war is resolved, and strategy and architecture are taken, along with 7 science, which means at least that I'll have plenty of science left, but I also lose 7 rocks. And yeah, that's even more crippling because now the red cards are here, but my rocks are stolen, and also had to take a bit of corruption last turn. So while the red cards are here now, also the last reserves is taken. I will now be lacking the rocks to get much, I suppose. Meanwhile, E5 gets to set up a movie even with Fleming, and also has 3 journalisms now, so he's actually now even outproducing Martin. While his civilization didn't really look impressive at first, he's actually now has a nice strength and a good culture production. So maybe he can compete with Martin now. So in that case, I'm not sure he should accept the pact. We'll see. Not gonna go too deep into the other players' positions here. So now I can take a rocket and destroy my warriors and build the rockets, I suppose, with the patriotism. And then also copy the mobile artillery. But it's just not going to be enough. There are now also no yellow cards on the row. Can't take the air forces because the position is I have to pay 2 for the rockets and the air force is on 3. So I can't even take that. But it also I just don't have enough rocks with what's left. That the air force would make a difference. I can only build 1 more rocket basically, and that's it. Which is clearly not enough if Weidenbaum has a war. Also not gonna finish the fast food clearly, but that's I have to set up a defense at least and not make myself even more inviting. Get the endowment at least, and there's the war. And now the chaplain comes in play for the happy faces. The age didn't end actually, so but he was not going to use the politics action, of course. He has to use the politics action for the war, of course. And he does go for the complete all-in with 2 armies and 2 air forces, which puts him at 83 strength. Pretty ruined civilization, but this war is gonna be gigantic. And for good measure, Martin goes for war, completes the Manhattan, and then goes for Korea. Are you sure about it? Science rating 7, science rating 10. And then he takes space flight. Like, was there any? There's no good reason for that, right? No. Only a small war actually, but it's just enough that I can't defend it. The military alliance is was already played and is cancelled by the war with Weidenbaum. Crime wave. And for me, with this huge war against Weidenbaum, the game is clearly lost. Like I said, can only build 1 rocket, which will put me at 50, and I'll just lose a whole lot of culture. I at least can go for democracy, so that's nice. I mean, it's an overrun democracy, but at least we were the good guys. I I can still be aggressed, but I think Weidenbaum goes for aggression against somebody else because he's got way more strength than anyone anyway, and he's now 50 culture ahead of me before his turn. So yeah, he aggresses e5, which is probably his closest competitor. And then I lose another 10 culture to Martin. And yeah, I guess there's not much else to say about this game for me because as we will see once the wars are resolved and the culture score comes up, yeah, I'm now far behind everybody else. At least my other people have perhaps worse looking civilizations at this point, so maybe get a little bit closer with the impacts. Though I didn't really draw any myself, I think, or hardly any. Like I think I put in wonders at some point. I drew strength. Maybe one more agriculture or something. I think I see it agriculture on the last turn. But that was the only impacts I got. So even on impacts, I'm probably not catching up much. There is now the Cold War, but that's irrelevant. And e5 actually gets a whole lot more extra culture production going on last turn. So agriculture was the last one I put in. Yeah, it was pretty even for all, but I got 3 for seedings. So, and we see now Martin has actually a sizable lead, 40 culture about against e5, but against between e5 and Weidenbaum it's really close, and I'm far behind. So 4 more impacts, and e5 gets +6 against Weidenbaum. I think that's the only race worth mentioning at this point. Then there's Tech 2028 and 24. Yeah, that's whoa. But it means e5 is running away from Weidenbaum with every impact. And yeah, Weidenbaum ended up with a pretty ruined civilization after the war, so it didn't really look like he had great impacts. So I think this is to be expected that e5 finishes ahead of him. And yeah, I have to end this video really quickly now because there's doorbell. But see you next time for the next game.